Langlang is just about to release Piano Book 2, the second album in his piano book series, and he's in Canada right now. He just performed a huge gala celebration with the Toronto Symphony Orchestra last night, and I'm so pleased to say he joins me in person at our piano to talk about his new record and his life in music. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
So I'm wondering what you make of this. So I told you the story when you first sat down. This was Glenn Gould's preferred rehearsal piano. He went to the wall so that the CBC wouldn't get rid of it. He really believed in this piano, wrote letters about this piano. What does it mean for you to be sitting behind it?
I mean, he's one of my absolutely favorite pianists, and to be sitting next to his preferred rehearsal piano is a great honor.
From your perspective, what made him so great?
He's a visionary. The thing is that he does something that no one would thought about. Once I mean, this is quite interesting. I saw a some kind of documentary on some other artist, sometimes criticizing Glenn Gould by him doing something just the opposite way. Let's say, there's a very famous pianist I don't want to name, but you probably will know, in the same generation, and he said, oh yeah, he's great with the Bach, but so what? He made legato, staccato, he made a slow, fast, he made everything just opposite way. That's not a creation. That's just, try to do something, attract people's eye and ears. But I totally disagree on that. I think that's completely nonsense. I think what he does is just everything is so thought after and is so inspiring. And he gives us, the next generation of artists to be confident on something that you probably thought that's not conventional.
Is there any chance you could show me what you were talking about then? That he said that it was what was supposed to be legato is staccato.
Yeah.
What it's supposed
For
to be.
example, sometimes it should be much faster, but he played it very slow, like here. Yeah, I mean, supposed to be. Yeah, but I mean, and or something like here. He did it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, the other guy was kind of arguing more like. But so what? I think this is incredible.
So why is that inspiring to you? Why when you hear that Gould says, no, there's no right way to play this, I'm going to play it the way that, I'm going to go against convention of the way this, you, Langlang, why is that inspiring to you? Why do you think that's great?
When I was a kid, let's be honest, when I'm thinking about Bach, I thought he's more like a academic, very kind of proper academic professor.
Yeah, there's nothing. There was the feeling. There's nothing romantic about it.
Yeah,
There's nothing,
or something. Not very creative. Let's say, of course, we know all those incredible Bach music, but maybe not as romantic or as lyric as some other composers. Yeah, but Glenn Gould made me to think Bach is probably even more romantic than Chopin, in a way.
Really?
Yeah, and this is something that also Glenn Gould was having, kind of ability to show us that the different voicing and different of colors works in Bach's music. Because a lot of people argue that Bach's music should be more even or more.
Because a lot of it was written for harpsichord, which would not have any dynamic. It wouldn't be able to get loud. It wouldn't be able to get soft.
Yeah.
So therefore, how could it have any? How could it have any of that
yeah.
stuff?
So, but Glenn Gould was the one break those impression. Yeah.
I think there's an impression around someone like you where the expectation around you is that as you get more and more famous and get big and the biggest kind of star in the classical music world, you'll do certain kinds of repertoire. That's what I'll say. Like you'll only do certain kinds of repertoire. And then you really surprised everybody a few years ago by putting out these piano book records. So for people who don't know, the first one was really shocking for a lot of people because here you are, this great acclaimed classical pianist, and you're doing sort of very well-known pieces.
Right.
You're doing like the Furlies, for example.
Or some basic pieces, what do you call? A lot of pieces like that. For example, for Piano Book 2, we record even this one. There's no one from our world, professional pianists, are taking those recordings. They even for Elise, not everybody record, right? Or like, and this time,
yeah.
But actually, those are great pieces. Or like this. Those are incredible pieces, and I think we need to view those pieces more seriously.
Why did you want to start playing them again? Why did you want to record them?
Because I never played well when I was a kid. I played kind of okay, and then I already move on to a different piece. So my impression on those pieces are like kind of children's piece, students' piece, not masterful piece. But if you really listen to it carefully, those are incredible pieces. It's just like a great Beethoven sonata. You just need to treat those pieces in a more serious way. But that time I'm unable. I was too young for that.
I mean, they become kind of cartoon music, right? Like I was thinking about that with even just the Furlies, right? I was thinking
Ringtone or
it's a ringtone.
Yeah.
And then getting ready for this interview, I actually did put it on. And I went, I've only ever heard this as either a ringtone, more as like something I had to learn or my friends had to learn.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, a man wrote this.
Yeah.
It's spectacular.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Do you sit down and go, how do I do something new with this? Or do you sit down and go, I have to uncover the beauty that's already in it? Or
I mean, we don't need to do much because now we're already adult. A matured musician, and then coming back to those pieces, it's not as hard as when you start learning music. That time you have no knowledge about anything. I mean, musically, historically. Yeah. So now coming back, what is Beethoven's sound should be, right? I mean, let's say not 100%, but we know 80% what Beethoven's music. Humbleness or certain character, and you adapt those things into for Elise.
I understand that. So when you have, so I should say, if Elise is on Piano Book 1, I only ever hear it as you only ever hear it as something you're learning.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to get through the notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just try to play. It's just sound. That's it. Just typing the note.
And you're saying as you get older, especially someone like you get familiar with Beethoven, you learn about his longing,
pieces,
his sadness, what might have, and then you're able to bring that to the piece.
Yeah, and then I think the students deserve to hear different editions, good editions.
Yeah, good like you doing
good
it.
versions.
And then, but you're also doing like video game pieces on this record, like the Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
You're doing Satie, like very famous Satie pieces.
Yes.
Like, how did you choose these pieces?
Those are kind of getting very, very, very popular among the younger generation. Like when we were a kid, we were playing like some kind of pieces like Chopstick or. But those kids are now playing Japanese anime and also the Murakami, John Williams, Hans Zimmer, and Tony Ann, the even younger generation, Rush E, Horowitz, which is from La La Land, or there's a new big video game called Black Myth Wukong, which is talking about Monkey King, and so they're into a complete different time, and whether you want them to play or not wanting them to play, when they start playing piano, they want to play something from their generation, which is the fact. They always trying to find the scores on internet. Like, I like this game theme song. Let me play it. So it's became a kind of a quite interesting thing for the kid to discover these days.
So different than when you started, right?
Yeah. When we started, it's more classical repertoire.
Tom and Jerry for you, I heard it was a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for me also, I played some Chinese folk music since my father plays erhu, the Chinese violin.
Yeah, of course. Do you remember any of the pieces you played then?
Yeah, so I did some this is of course is a famous violin concerto called Butterfly, Lover Butterfly. Yeah. And this was played a lot with me and my dad on his traditional instrument.
On the erhu.
Yeah. The kind of the Chinese style of this subtleness of the
very
flavor.
fast vibrato.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. What was the first piece that you enjoyed playing? Were there pieces that were like those Final Fantasy pieces for the kids now? Were there pieces that you sat down and you looked forward to practicing, looked forward to playing?
As I mentioned a little bit of this Monkey King music, which the game actually took the original soundtrack and made it a new version.
Right.
And then so this is like when I was a kid. Every day the television was playing this this intro every day.
Really?
Yeah. This like so we have. We made, of course, a arrangement and of this song with a more kind of modernized with the piano playing. But I mean,
did you have a good ear? Like, could you learn stuff? Were you learning stuff off the TV and sitting there and playing it?
This is a very easy tune to follow.
No, that's pretty. That's cool. Like in the early days, it shows that you have a gift for it. Talk to me. I normally like talking about practice a lot. Like I like talking to people who say, I put 2 or 3 hours in every day. I put 4 or 5 hours in every day. Famously, in the early days when you were first learning, talk to me about what was your practice regimen when you were like very small, when you were like a kid? How many hours were you putting in?
In the beginning, not so much. So one was I started to just play by ear at 2.5, like those TV soaps.
Yeah.
And then I had a real teacher, 3.5, like a real professional teacher. So then after I turned 5, I start practicing a lot. So
what's a lot? What's a lot?
So when I turn 5, I think I'm already playing 4 hours a day. And then when I'm 7, I'm already almost reaching 6 hours a day. Almost, like 5 hours. Yeah, and then later even more. Like when I start to play more professionally, so then it's like 6 hours, and then holidays can be 8 hours. Yeah,
I think people who are parents might be wondering right now, how do you get a kid to practice for 6 hours a day?
It's very hard. It's very, very difficult to get somebody practice 6 hours a day.
I heard your mom's dumplings had something to do with it. I read that.
I mean, my reward was Transformers, dumplings, and all those toys. I need a good food and toys. Otherwise, I just don't feel love to do this. Even though I love practicing, right? But 6 hours, it's very hard. It's a really, But during the school time, I normally practice 4 hours as an elementary kid. So it's okay. But what I did was, I actually never really focus on one piece. I get bored very soon, very quickly. So I was playing every piece like 20 minutes, and I switch to another piece. So that's got me going, so I don't feel kind of really, really bored.
You weren't doing fundamentals? You weren't doing like scales?
Oh, scales I did. Oh, yeah, I forgot to. Yeah. So I started this C major or Hanan, and then into the minor keys, arpeggio, and the chords, the third, and then octave. I mean, octave later because I didn't have big big hand at the age of 4. So,
Modes or different kinds of scales?
yeah, totally. Every key, every pattern, I have to, So all different kind of counterpoint you're doing. So I did like 1 hour practice of basic every day. Yeah, and then I start to play Czerny etudes, Bach pieces, and then Mozart, and then some Chopin, like a miniature waltz or something. So something easy.
I mean, the story is that your dad takes you to Beijing when you're a kid.
9 years old.
9 years old. You move into. I love the way you described it in an interview. It was like It was the worst apartment in the worst neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, it was completely bad, because we tried to save money, and because my father stopped working as a policeman. Actually, he had a interesting jobs. Yeah, he was playing Chinese violin, and then the orchestra went bankruptcy. I mean, there's no money anymore. So they start working as a police. It was an interesting transition, right? And then but he actually he had a good job actually.
Yeah.
But he was giving up the job for to accompany me to Beijing, and my mom stayed at home to really work hard to get our living expense covered.
The question I had is you weren't living. It wasn't just you and your dad. It was you and your dad and a bunch of people. You were like sharing bathrooms. You were sharing sinks, right?
Yeah.
How do you practice that much with that many people?
Oh, they hated it. I mean, this is like when I start practicing, they try to kill me. I mean, they were like, "This is horrible. What are you playing?" Because they never heard classical music before. They only hear some, TV soap stuff. So when I play those things, they that's nice. You should practice more on that.
But they
But
didn't.
when I start playing Beethoven, like they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're crazy! What is that? What is that?" Like they were playing poker. It's like, don't practice. It's like I can't cope it. I mean, this is crazy. But in the end of the day, after they get familiarized with classical music, they all become my good friend. And then they were like, "Yeah, I think Chopin sounds good. Yeah, play that black key. Black key etude." So in the end, they all became very good friends of mine.
Did you enjoy this at all? I mean, it feels like a tremendous amount of pressure when your dad quits his job so that you will become a musician.
Yeah.
So you will go to the school. You're putting in 6, and you're very. The way you're talking about it now is very like, oh yeah, and they loved it. It was classical.
It was very, very difficult at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that at all? Did you enjoy the music? Did you enjoy the practicing?
Most of the time I did, but sometimes it's hard. Sometimes when nobody understands what you're doing, and they just kind of, they never give you some kind of encouragement, because this classical music still at that time, it's just really far to regular people's life in China. It's just like impossible. My classmate were looking at me. This is before I went to the conservatory, right?
Yeah.
So they was like, who is this weirdo from the northeast region, speaking very funny accent, Mandarin, and doing this weird music. Until I start accompany the school choir, and then they become a good friend of mine. Oh wow, you're talented.
Yeah.
So they realize oh wow, this guy plays better than the music teacher.
But didn't that happen? Like I heard that you quit for a while.
Yeah, I got fired once before I even get to the conservatory.
But it was a teacher, right?
It was a professional teacher at the conservatory. So the reason I went to Beijing a little bit earlier is because I wanted to take the audition and to prepare better so I can get in easily
to this prestigious conservatory.
Yeah, to the Central Conservatory. But we found the wrong teacher, so she hated me. She didn't like my style, and also she didn't like my father. She thought he was so pushy, So she was not in favor with us. So she said, you should go back to your home city. Beijing is not for you. So then she just fired me. Yeah, just right in front of our face, like, oh, you're not good for keeping your career in Beijing. You should go back to your home city.
How was that for you?
That was horrible. I really didn't like piano for a while because of that.
Yeah, I know. Because your dad was upset about it.
Yeah.
He was unhappy that had all gone down. What I want to talk about is what brought you back. I was reading something about it. It was a Mozart piece.
Yes, this one. So what happened was,
I love that you remember it. By the way, that's great.
I mean, this is how can I forget this one since there's not so much repertoire at that time anyway.
What's the story? What happened?
So I got fired, and then I didn't want to play piano, but I didn't go home to my home city because I feel very ashamed to go home. Yeah, I felt that maybe I should stay a little bit longer in Beijing and then find an excuse to get back. Because everybody thought I'm going to make a big career in Beijing, getting into the conservatory and then, international competition, But then here's come somebody even before getting in already get fired. So I was very ashamed to go back. So I was just... So people ask me from my elementary school, hey, you should keep accompany us to sing some folk songs and in a choir, And I said, no, I don't play anymore. I get fired by this teacher. I will go home. I will go back to my home city in 1 month. Because I feel so ashamed. I have to stay in your class for a few more days to kind of get everything settled. And they were like, come on, this is crazy. You are so young to give up. I mean, like, those kids were not my friend at the beginning, But then when I'm really down, they become very good friends. They were like, you come all the way from your home city, even though you talk like a potato field accent, but it was not easy for you. You shouldn't give up. I said, come on, what do you know? What do you guys know about piano? You don't even know where's the middle C is, But this music teacher was very nice. He had a Mozart sonata score in the music class, alongside with some Chinese folk music, right? So he said, don't feel bad. Can you play this song? So they pointing out, probably that's the only slow movement they have there. So and I look at the score. I don't want to play. This brings me bad memory. And he said, "Did you play this piece?" I said, "No, this I don't know." He said, "Yeah, try it." And then all the classmates said, play, yeah. And then I sat down and I was like sight reading and. And it was like, wow. What a beautiful piece. And I was like, why I stopped? Because of that stupid teacher, who can just destroy my life like that.
So, and they said, you're good, you should keep doing this?
Yeah, and then I start playing again.
And you meet another teacher?
Yeah, but thank God. I mean, my first teacher she was back then in America, babysitting her granddaughter. So that's why, I have to go to Beijing slightly earlier. Right. Because I don't have a teacher in my home city. So she heard about this horrible news that I got fired. So she said, don't say anything. So she just started to writing a letter to another teacher. But she didn't say that I already in Beijing, already for half a year I got fired. She did not mention a thing. And she just said, oh, I have the students want to come to take an audition. Can you listen to him? And then also really, my father messed up the things. So this is a couple. So the lady who my teacher wrote directly, she was the piano department head. And her husband is also a good teacher, but it's not kind of high positioned professor.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So then she said, okay, I will listen to this boy. Please tell them to come Thursday, 3 p.m. Uh-huh. So my father was so nervous, or the telephone line was bad or something. So he heard Friday, 3 o'clock.
Oh, good.
I mean, like, how can he do means that?
That's
right?
great.
So then I remember, so we have to pretend. It was like movie. We have to pretend that we never go to the conservatory before.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like, and then actually,
wow, this is
wow, so nice.
yeah.
And then, so we knocked her door.
Yeah.
She said, I waited the whole hour for you yesterday. What happened to you? I said, I don't know. And my father said, I thought it was Friday today. No. Thursday. Who told you Friday?
Yeah.
I'm so busy. Did you see I'm teaching? Okay, go to see my husband. He's available. So,
Yeah.
so we went to see her husband. Then turns that I'm studying with her husband, which is great because her husband is so much more relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I really hate this kind of really strict teachers, you know. Like,
Yeah.
and this guy is so relaxed. Hey, so what's your name? Oh, what are you gonna do? Oh, you're supposed to play for my wife. Oh, okay. And he said, "You're very good. Just too intense. What happened to you? Why
You
are you
were
so
too
intense?"
intense.
Yeah,
is
because
what
I'm so afraid that he will fire me again. So I'm so intense.
This is wild. Did that professor who fired you find out that you became the big famous piano player?
Of course, because not only that, that's much later. She's still the professor in the conservatory. So
The one who fired you?
So when I get out from the new professor's practice room, I see her right facing, and I'm so afraid that she will say, "Oh, he's a horrible pianist. Don't teach him."
Yeah.
You know?
I fired him.
Yeah,
I fired him. What's he doing here?
But she in the end she came to my master class at school when I come back to China for my master class. And she was sitting there and she looked at me. It's like, yeah, you're not that bad. You know, kind of that. So I kind of forgive her. It's okay. I mean, maybe she had bad time. Who knows?
I'm just wondering what I've been thinking about is whether you're enjoying any of this stuff up to this point, you know, like, because then you go to the Curtis Institute, and you work with this guy named Gary Graffman, this teacher there.
Amazing, the best teacher,
The story I heard is that he was the best teacher, not because he taught you a lot of technique or not because he taught you a lot of repertoire, even though he did.
Yeah.
But he taught you a different mindset when it came to the music.
Yeah,
what does
to
that
become
mean?
a true musician rather than famous pianist.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. So when I
love that.
came to see him,
Yeah.
right? I won 2 competitions. That's why he spotted me. He saw my competition video in Japan.
Yeah.
So he's like, this guy's good. So because of competition, I had a chance to meet him. And then I got through the audition. Everything was great. So I got into Curtis. This was March 97. I was 14 years old.
Wow.
Then, so I remember I came in August 97 for September school year, right? So then he said, okay, what's your plan? I said, I want to win every competition. I like to be like Agassi or Sampras. You know, that time. This was before Roger Federer time.
You were 12 when you won the international competition for
already,
young pianists in Germany.
Yeah,
Like it was a very big deal that you were 12 when you won that.
Right. So I thought I'm going to win the adult competitions like Tchaikovsky, Chopin, Van Cliburn, or Queen Elizabeth or Leeds. You know, those big 5 competitions.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I said I want to be like Pete Sampras, meaning all the Grand Slam. You know, and he said, why? I said, I want to be famous. I want to be I want to be successful. I want to be. He said, why you are not focused on what you have to learn, what repertoire you need to learn, how many recitals program you have to learn, instead of just winning first prize. He said, I said, but that's the way I brought up. I said, if you don't win first prize, probably nobody will know who you are. Yeah, and he said, very funny. Even you win first prize, people still doesn't know who you are.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I was like, no, come on, you're joking me. Yeah, he said, and then my English was bad, right, that time. So my father was asking, so what Gary said, and but those I understand, right? And he said, no, your English is bad. You don't understand what he said. So
There's no way. There's
no way
he
said that. I said, yeah, he said that.
He said, "There's no way." He said, "I don't have
said
that."
Yeah. And then we had a translator, and he thought Gary is completely insane.
Yeah.
He said, we come here, we want to win everything, and you told us to not join any competition, just practice. What is that? And then he said, but wait, I'm not saying that you are doing nothing. I'm saying that you have to learn a lot of repertoire, concerto. Do you know this concerto? I said, no, I don't. Okay, learn it. Do you know this piece? I said, I don't. Learn it. Do you know this composer? I never heard. Okay, you have to play Bartok. You have to play Granados. You know, who are they? And I have no idea. So, see, you are lacking of knowledge.
Why? Why did you have to learn that? Like, why? What was he trying to teach you?
He wanted me to really focus on music, not really on being number one or like being going to a competition to just to focus on that. He wanted me to focus on to build a real repertoire as a professional musician.
He wanted you to appreciate music differently, and not as a means to win something.
Yeah,
not
not like
to
a
appreciate the beauty
competitive
of it
thing.
or to appreciate the.
And also, I need a lot of repertoire at that time. I was 14, so it was still very young, very young. So then, but he said, but look. So then my next question, very easy. I said, so how do I become famous then if I don't win anything? Oh, yeah. I will find you a record company and management. And but I said, yeah, but that's not enough. Who's going to sign me as a record company? They look at my bio. It's like, you didn't win anything. Why should we sign you? He said, yeah, but there's one thing you can do. I said, what? He said, once you are so great, you will make a lot of auditions to big conductors. And one day they will hire you. They will invite you to play with the best orchestra in the world. I said, I said, really? He said, yeah. And he said, okay, I give you an example. You know how Andre Watts became famous, right? I said, yeah, he was replacing Glenn Gould. That I didn't know.
I didn't know that story. He replaced Glenn Gould.
Glenn Gould at the age of 16.
For what? For a
yeah, he's supposed to play Brahms number 1 with Bruno Walter. With New York Philharmonic, and Glenn Gould canceled the concert, and Andre Watts was back then 16 years old.
Okay,
he replaced him at New York Philharmonic, and that got he's famous. Okay.
So he was ready.
Yeah. So he said that story. He said, this. I said, I read about it. He said, yeah, this will be your way to go out. That's what he said.
And
what happened? I was replacing Andre Watts at 17 years old. That's how I got started.
Yeah, at the Chicago Symphony.
Yeah.
I never put that together because I knew you had stepped in for somebody.
Yeah, it was Andre Watts.
You stepped in for the musician who got their break by stepping in for Glenn Gould.
Almost same age.
When your professor told you how this person. Yeah. Langlang, that's
insane. I know, that's fate.
Is that what? That's what it is.
That's fate.
Eh?
Then it exactly happened 3 years after that.
That's a wild story, man.
Yeah.
So do you enjoy it more now? Like, did you learn about the enjoyment of the music?
Yes.
Do you?
I think so. That's why I said he's the best teacher, because he really taught me how to focus in music rather than focus on being number one, or this is kind of that's so short term thinking.
Well, this is all making sense to me now because we were running out of time, but I wanted to ask you about. I read this story about you seeing this AI pianist play.
Yeah, his name was Theo.
And was it like a series of hands? Was it a robot?
He's a robot. He can play like 52 notes in the same time. Like, I don't want to compete with that. I mean, he's going to destroy me.
What you said when someone asked you what you thought of the AI piano player, you said it was too perfect.
Yeah. There's no emotion. It's just perfect in the notes. Like he doesn't make mistake. Let's say this. Okay, so it's more like that. But there's nothing else.
There's something deeper there, man. Like there's something deeper that.
But that was like.
Because you were kind of raised to be an AI. You were kind of raised. You were kind of the way you're talking about as I want to win. Is like you were an AI. Like you wanted to be perfect.
I want to be like less mistakes. Let's put it this way. Yeah.
And it seems like when you say an AI piano player is too perfect. I mean that it's
not perfect. It just doesn't make wrong notes. I wouldn't say that's because perfect also, I mean, first of all, there's nothing perfect, but even you want to get perfect, I'm talking about more about emotional balance with your technique ability, your sensibility of control the keys, compare with the knowledge and the intellectual things that you have been experienced, right? That's what I mean. That's being more perfect, right? But if you have a robot playing only play without wrong notes, but that's not nothing close to perfect. It's just no mistake. That's it.
I could talk to you about this forever, and the idea of perfection versus musicality.
Right.
We got to wrap in about 30 seconds. I don't know. Can you play something for us on the way out? Like, is there something you love off the new record? Something you
maybe a little bit of La La Land.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Gould, but no. Let's do La La Land.
Yeah. I mean, I did a little bit go.
Yeah, let's do the new record. Let's do the new record. Let's get to make sure the new record's in there. I like to see an AI do that. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom.